What if I told you that a girl who grew up in poverty, whose parents were addicted to drugs, and who became homeless at the age of 15, later got accepted into Harvard University? This is the incredible true story of Liz Murray, a story of pain, perseverance, and a powerful will to never give up. And it's perfect for improving your English listening skills. Once upon a time, in a small and crowded apartment in the Bronx, New York City, there lived a little girl named Liz Murray. Liz was a quiet child, with big brown eyes and messy hair. She loved to dream. She loved to ask questions. She loved to read anything she could find, even old newspapers from the trash. But Liz's home was not like other children's homes. Her parents, though they loved her, had a very big problem. They were both addicted to drugs. They often used heroin, a dangerous drug that made them forget everything else, even Liz. Sometimes, there was no food in the house. No hot meals. No milk. No fruits. Not even bread. Liz would eat ice cubes just to stop her hunger. Sometimes, she even ate toothpaste. There was no soap. No clean clothes. No warm water in the winter. And yet, Liz never complained. She still loved her parents. She still believed in hope. She would sit by the window, look up at the sky, and whisper to herself, "One day, I will live a different life." Her father, though often lost in his own world, taught her to love books. He told her stories about history and philosophy, even while high. Her mother was sick, she had mental illness, but when she was calm, she would hug Liz tightly and sing to her. Those hugs, those songs. Liz kept them in her heart like treasure. But outside the home, things weren't easier. At school, kids would laugh at her. Her clothes were dirty. Her shoes were broken. Some days, she smelled bad because she had no place to shower. They called her names. They didn't want to sit near her. And still, Liz showed up to school. Not because someone forced her, but because she wanted to learn. Because she believed, maybe, just maybe, knowledge can take me far away from here. Liz didn't have toys. She didn't have birthday parties. But she had something more powerful, a tiny seed of hope inside her heart. And that hope, even in the darkest times, kept growing. She didn't know it yet, but one day, that seed would become a beautiful future. This was just the beginning of Liz's story. A story of pain, yes. But also a story of courage, dreams, and never giving up. As Liz grew older, things didn't get better. She was now a teenager, about 15 years old, but her life was falling apart, piece by piece. Her mom, the one person who gave her comfort, was getting very sick. Her mother had AIDS, a dangerous illness that made her weaker and weaker every day. Liz tried to help. She gave her mom water. She cleaned the small room. She told her silly jokes, just to see her mother smile. But deep down, she was afraid. And one cold day, her fear became real. Her mother passed away. Liz was heartbroken. She felt like her heart had been torn into 1,000 pieces. Her mother was her world. And now that world was gone. Her father couldn't take care of her. He had his own struggles and soon moved into a homeless shelter. That meant Liz was completely on her own. She had no home. no money, no food. At night, she rode the subway trains, staying on all night just to stay warm. Sometimes, she slept in stairwells, on rooftops, or on a friend's sofa, if they let her. But most of the time, she had no place at all. I felt like I didn't belong anywhere, Liz later said. Like I had disappeared from the world. She was just a child. But she was also a fighter. She never turned to drugs. She never gave up. Even when her stomach growled with hunger, even when snow fell on her thin jacket, even when no one said, "I'm proud of you," she kept going. One day, as she walked past a school, she stopped. She looked at the students inside. They were warm, laughing, learning. And in that moment, she made a promise to herself. "I'm going to go back to school," she said. "I'm going to change my life." It wouldn't be easy. It would take courage. It would take strength. But Liz was ready. From that day forward, Liz took her first step toward a new future. She had lost everything, but not her spirit, not her mind, and not her dream. This was the moment her life began to change. Liz was homeless. She had no family, no money, and nowhere to sleep at night. But inside her heart, there was a small, bright light. A voice that whispered, "Don't give up. You can still choose a different life." One morning, Liz walked into a special school called the Humanities Preparatory Academy. It was a school for students who had struggled in life. Some had dropped out. Some had faced tough times, just like Liz. Liz went to the office and said, "I want to go to school. I want to learn." At first, people were surprised. She had no home address. No clean clothes. But she had something rare, pure determination. The teachers gave her a chance. And Liz promised herself she would give everything she had. She studied during the day. At night, she rode the subway, holding her books in her lap. She did her homework under streetlights and in stairwells. She worked harder than anyone else in the class. And little by little, things began to change. Her grades started going up. Teachers noticed her effort. They said, "Liz, you're brilliant. You think deeply. You write beautifully." For the first time in her life, someone believed in her. And soon, Liz started to believe in herself too. One day, her teacher gave her some incredible news. "Liz, you should apply to Harvard University." Liz was shocked. Harvard? The most famous school in America? She had never even dared to dream that big. But now, maybe it was possible. So she wrote her story. She told the truth. About hunger. About heartbreak. About hope. She said, "I don't want pity. I want a chance to learn." Then one day, a big envelope arrived. It said, "Congratulations, Liz Murray. You've been accepted to Harvard University." She cried. But this time, it wasn't from sadness. It was from joy. From pride. From knowing that all her pain had not been wasted. She had turned homelessness into honor. Struggle into strength. Dreams into reality. Liz Murray had done the impossible. And this was only the beginning. Liz Murray got into Harvard University. A girl who once slept on park benches was now sitting in some of the world's most famous classrooms. But she never forgot where she came from. She never forgot the cold nights, the hunger, the pain. She also never forgot the power of one helping hand. Now, Liz had a new dream. I want to give hope. The same way someone once gave hope to me. She began to tell her story. At first, it was just to small groups, schools, shelters, community centers. But people listened. Some cried. Some smiled. Many stood up after her speech with new courage in their hearts. Because Liz wasn't just talking about success. She was talking about survival, strength, second chances. One girl said, "If Liz can go from homeless to Harvard, maybe I can go from failing to graduating." A young boy whispered, "She's just like me. She made it. Maybe I can too." Liz had become something powerful. Not just a survivor. Not just a Harvard student. She had become a light for others. She wrote a book called Breaking Night. It became a bestseller. She appeared on TV, was featured in documentaries, and spoke to leaders around the world. But fame didn't change her. She still visited shelters. Still helped young people. Still listened, with her heart. She looked them in the eyes and said, "I see you. I believe in you. Your past does not define your future." Because Liz had learned one simple truth: when you share your story, you give others permission to hope. And Liz continues to share her story, again and again, so that the next little girl, sleeping on a bench, can whisper to herself, "One day, I will live a different life." And believe it. If Liz can do it, so can you. No matter how hard life gets, there is always a way forward. Her life is not just a story. It's a message. That no matter where you start, with courage, with help, and with heart, you can rise. Just like Liz. Thank you for watching Liz's incredible journey. Her story reminds us that even in our darkest moments, hope can still grow. Dreams can still rise. And you can still choose to change your life. If this story touched your heart, please give it a like, leave a comment about what inspired you the most, and share it with someone who needs hope today. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more true stories that warm your heart and teach you real English. Let's keep learning. Let's keep growing. This is English Story Journey. Together, we grow, one word, one story, one dream at a time.